Well, good afternoon, everyone. It is Saturday, April the 4th, and I'm doing this podcast in my Good Grief series called Transforming Triggers. My name is Nish, and and I want to thank you for joining me today on my podcast. You know, um, I think that it's quite timely to speak of this, even though tomorrow may be Easter, but um, there are many things and situations in life that can trigger you um, in grief. It's something may remind you of, a loved one who passed away, like a parent or a friend or a mentor or any other relative, just by something that you hear. Maybe it's a song, maybe it's a particular food that you eat on the holidays, which might trigger you. So what I wanted to let you know is that grief doesn't move in a straight line. Doesn't mean that, yes, when the event happened where your loved one passed away, or it doesn't even have to be um, a person or even a pet that passes. It could be something like you suffered a bankruptcy, or you lost your job, you were fired, and that caused you great humiliation, which causes you grief. All right. Any of these situations, and something could trigger you to spiral down into an emotional state that makes it very difficult for you to cope. Um, these waves of grief can catch you off guard. And so, what I want to give to you in my podcast today is a kind of some suggestions, or kind of a toolkit that you can use when something like this occurs, when a wave of grief comes over you. All right. Um, and, let's just talk about a holiday. There's so many things that happens during holidays. And let's say Easter in particular. Let's say you're used to, or you used to go to an Easter meal, maybe at your grandparents' house, and maybe your grandmother made leg of lamb for that meal. And it was something that you really look forward to, and she made the best leg of lamb ever. And it was just, the memories of your grandmother's love and the camaraderie that you had with the rest of the family, but in particular your grandmother. And you, let's say you go to an Easter event where they're serving that leg of lamb, and you feel uh, a knot in your stomach. You feel like, wow, I don't even know if I can eat this today. Well, you know, that could happen as a wave of grief. However, if you can frame it this way, or whatever situation you're in, and you're in a public place, or you're at an event, there's other people around. I'm getting this toolkit suggestion uh, from watching Tyler Henry. If you know who he is, he's like a psychic medium, and he speaks to, or he gets messages from your dearly departed. Okay, and he relays that to you. Everybody wants to speak to their loved ones that have passed, and these spirits have messages for you. I watched a few episodes recently, and there was a gentleman whose mother had passed before his he adopted this child. He is partnered or married to another man. He's a gay man. He's in a partnership with his the love of his life, and they decided they would like to raise a child, and they wanted to adopt a child. So before the child was adopted, a son, um, the his mother told him, "You shouldn't do this because a child needs to have a mother and a father to raise them, not two men." And that really broke his heart. But before this adoption was final, his mother passed away and never did get to meet the child. So the message that Tyler Henry gave him was that his mother sees him and sees how wonderfully his son is being raised by him and his partner, two dads, and how beautiful that son is. And she told Tyler to tell him to know that I'm there. I'm giving you a hug and your son a hug and your partner a hug every day because I love you. And she actually said, which was quite poignant, and it brought this man to tears, that she asked him to forgive her for assuming that he couldn't raise a child. She realized how much that hurt. Now, what a what a very emotional story that was. But even though we may not be able to enlist Tyler Henry to bring us messages from our loved ones, and trust me, I have a lot of past loved ones I would love to talk to, but you can do this yourself, okay? You open your heart, pardon me, and you, um, like, for example, going back to the Lake of Lamb story, and you're at an event and you think of your grandmother and you suddenly feel like you cannot eat this lamb. Well, if you can stop, take a breath, and internally say and think that your grandmother is there with you at this event. She wanted you to enjoy this leg of lamb as you did at her house many, many times. And she let you know that the person who prepared this for you, for all the guests, was doing it in love and hoping that it would not only be satisfying, but it would show it's about sharing the love with everyone. And if you reframe certain situations in this way, that could help you. All right. Now, for some other types of ways that you can help stop a wave of grief coming over you, feel it's coming over you. Um, let's say you're in a place that you really can't express yourself, or or you want to keep it under wraps. In other words, you want to try to get your emotions under control within a few seconds so that you can carry on. Let's say you're in a meeting of some sort and maybe somebody said something, or there was some kind of presentation where there was an image that is triggering you. So, in that moment, you want to do the box breathing. All right. And what that is that you're breathing in for 4 seconds, you breathe out for 4 seconds, and you pause. All right. Oh, even I did that wrong. Okay. You breathe in for 4 seconds, you pause for 4 seconds, you breathe out for 4 seconds, and you pause again. And then you start over, breathe in for 4 seconds, pause for 4 seconds, and breathe out for 4 seconds. Now, if you can do that cycle 2 times and you're not revealing what you're doing, it's inside, and what you do while you're doing this breath work is you're counting in your mind the 4 seconds, and do it slowly, like 1, 2, 3, 4 in your mind. You're So that you're concentrating on that counting, and you do it at least twice. Okay, you could do it as many times as you need to, but usually after 2 times, you start to get a hold of yourself. It's like grounding. You can now comfortably go forward and get back to the present moment. Okay, so that is one particular way that you can help yourself in a place where you cannot tell somebody you're feeling some anxiety. You cannot express or show that you are feeling this anxiety. You're going to do it privately, and you can do this breathing many times. Like, let's say you've done it twice. You're feeling a little bit centered, but you could still feel that anxiety a little bit, and it could climb. So wait maybe a minute and do it over. You know. Now, um, another way to help yourself during a time where you feel a wave of grief coming upon you, or maybe it's upon you, if you have access to go outside and you could comfortably go outside, like you're not, in the middle of a conversation, or you're not doing a task that you cannot stop right now and walk outside. But if you can go outside, it's really a very good way to relieve the tension, the anxiety, the wave of grief and sorrow that might be coming over you. You step outside, you breathe in and breathe out. You could do the box breathing. And if you if you're wearing flip flops or something, and if you're outside where there's a lawn, or um, maybe even dirt, if you don't mind, and take your flip flops off and put your feet on the ground. This is serious grounding, because the earth will pull your energy down, and you can feel a calming coming up from the earth. So you're going to breathe consciously. And if you can't stand on the ground, just look around. If you're outside and you see trees, you see grass, you see flowers and bushes, observe them all. and breathe deeply and feel the calming energy from all of these plants. The plants do emit, they first of all, they're emitting oxygen, but they also emit a calming vibe. So that's one other way to help you move on from a wave of grief. Also, oh, I want to show you this. I don't know if you could see it very well, but anyway, this is a very small and smooth citrine crystal. Now, um, and it's small, and I could hold it in the palm of my hand. And let's say, um, you often have these little waves of grief, or you know that you're going to go someplace or be around people, or whatever the situation is that could be difficult. What you want to do is bring it's called like it's worry stone. It's called like a worry stone. Anyway, if you have it in the palm of your hand and you're rubbing it, it can be very calming. All right. So if you have pockets, you can put it in your pocket so you can readily grab it and touch it. Maybe you just touch it in your pocket. And for that instance, it brings you down, brings you to a calm state while you're rubbing your worry stone, your crystal, or it doesn't have to be a stone or a crystal. Let's say you have another object, a small object. It could be a key fob that maybe you don't want one that's connected to all your keys because then you might be jingling your keys. But let's say you have another one that might have a heart on it or something, and that's another good item. Or just see a small item that you own that might maybe remind you of your loved one. And by holding it, it represents to you their love and their support and their energy, and that they're giving it to you every time you hold that object. All right. And the last one I will suggest to you today, there's um, many tools that you can use to help you through these waves of grief. The last one I'll tell you today is an affirmation. Okay. An affirmation that you could maybe write down on a piece of paper, on a card. You can maybe type a note in your phone, and that you can easily access. And when you feel the anxiety come upon you and you know the wave of grief is coming, or maybe you're in it, then get your affirmation card out and read it to yourself. If you could read it out loud, it's even better if you're in a place where you can. But here is an affirmation that you might want to try. All right, here it is. I am safe. I can grieve. I love myself, and this will pass. Right? I am safe. I can grieve. I love myself, and this will pass. All right. And when I say this will pass, maybe you could say this moment will pass. I'm not saying that your grief is going to go away. Um, you just want to be able to manage it. Okay, so this moment that you're feeling high anxiety, you just want to get to a point where you can manage it, and you could acknowledge that yes, you dearly miss your loved one, or you're feeling regretful about some um, event that happened to you or some situation that's making you grieve about it, you could forgive yourself and say, look, this keeps coming up in my mind. Something reminds me of it. And you know what? You could say, I forgive myself for that. I can live. I can go on with my life. When you're grieving or feeling um, a, a repeated moment that was very difficult for you, in that particular case, if you're reminded of it, you can say to yourself, that situation is in the past. It's gone. It can't come back to haunt me. All right? And you can that type of grief, you can let go. All right? So anyway, I hope that this has been helpful. I know that tomorrow is Easter, as I said. I want you to have a blessed day and let um, the light of this particular holiday come in and wash over you, this beautiful white light, and let it heal you. Let it heal your heart. Okay. All right. Well, thank you so much for joining me today. Oh, before I go, I just wanted to show you the last podcast I did. I showed you this tea light that has been burning for it's probably over 2 months now, and it's still burning. I picked some roses from the garden here at my apartment building, and because I feel that tea light is my dad telling me, yes, I'm here. I'm here with you. I give you my love, and I will give you my guidance. All right. There's always a message from my dad. All right. So let that wash over you. And I know that this Easter season will bring you hope and light and love. And just know your loved ones are there and they will give you a hand and lift you up. All right. Well, thank you so much for listening to my podcast. Have a wonderful Easter and Passover that's coming up, I believe, at the same time. And no matter what your spiritual beliefs are, um, even if you're not someone that, celebrates Easter, but just know that Easter just represents a portal to good. Okay? Let it wash over you. All right? Thank you so much. And know that I love you very much. And have a wonderful week. Take care.